MLB.com is trying to tell us something we already know, which is Merrill Kelly is the most underrated pitcher in baseball. No secret to us Dbacks fans, but we're going to talk about it. We're also going to be joined by Dbacks pitching prospect Kohl Drake to talk about his journey and essentially being teammates with the man he was traded for. All of this right now. Don't you go anywhere. SkeeYee and happy Thursday to you all. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It is I, your mayor of PHNX, occasionally known as Derek Montilla. Happy Thursday to you all. Thrilled to have you guys with us. Thrilled to be joined once again by the jelly to my peanut butter, the one, the only Damon dog, aka Damon Fairall on the ones and twos. Bark, bark to you, Damon dog.
Bark, bark.
You all right today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How we doing?
I'm pumped because we are joined by the Diamondbacks, top Diamondbacks pitching prospect here momentarily. And we're also going to talk about Merrill Kelly being underrated, like that, as if that's something we didn't already know, right? So we have more on Merrill being named to the MLB all underrated team. But first, we are pumped to be joined by Diamondbacks pitching prospect and a guy who has a little bit of a connection to one Merrill Kelly, Kohl Drake. Kohl, thank you so much for joining us, man. Appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, I know it's no Aston Martin DB12. I got to see you do an interview driving that car. This is already probably a little bit of a letdown, but I promise I'll try to keep the energy up.
Hey, all interviews are fun. Anywhere you can do them, it's great. That was a fun opportunity, but just as fun as this one.
I appreciate it, man. So I guess I know you're a Dallas-Fort Worth guy. I know you kind of grew up in that area. So I imagine that, being a part of the Rangers organization was a bit of a thrill. What was your reaction to, being traded to the Diamondbacks? How did you view that?
I think, everyone's initial reaction to being traded, at first you're kind of in a little bit of shock. Your whole world is changing. You're going to go, become teammates with people you haven't met before. I think my initial reaction was definitely shock. And then, as soon as I kind of packed up my stuff and packed up my apartment in Round Rock and, was heading to Reno, I think, that's kind of when the excitement of, hey, you're going somewhere new, a new opportunity, potentially a better opportunity for me, which is what I think it is. So
that's what and that's how we feel right now, especially for all these young, talented prospects that are part of this organization. It's not to say the Diamondbacks don't have a direction, but it does feel like, especially when it comes to pitching, that the opportunity is wide open for you guys to have a shot to not only move up through the system, but to have a competitive chance at making the major league roster and being part of the starting rotation.
For sure. Anything that we can do, like in the minor leagues, we're all trying to, reach the major leagues with the goal to help the big league team win. So, at the end of the day, that is the goal for me, is to go up there and help the team win games.
When did you realize along your journey that this baseball gig was going to be more than just an extracurricular activity, essentially?
Obviously growing up, most baseball players, I should say, have the dream of pitching professionally and getting to the big league level. So I'd always dreamed of that, and starting my career at a D2, which was pretty much the only opportunity that I had out of high school. You kind of start at the bottom, and I was fortunate enough to go through some training after my freshman year and kind of saw a jump in some velo. And so I took a shot and decided to go JUCO with the hopes of that I can keep progressing and potentially get drafted. And, that's kind of what ended up happening. And I was very fortunate, to say the least, to get the time at those JUCOs that I was at.
Well, we did a little bit of a deep dive into your career when you first got traded over to the Diamondbacks, and I think one thing we were really impressed with was it felt like you continued to kind of bet on yourself as you went along in your career, and when you had things kind of stand in your way that was essentially going to keep you from reaching the level you felt you could keep, you made changes, and all of that led you to this point.
Yeah, I mean, COVID was kind of a big thing. Like the JUCO I was in California, I loved it there, and I thought, for sure that was going to be a stepping stone for me getting into pro ball or potentially Division One.
Right.
But with COVID and not having a season there, I decided that what was best was to transfer to a school where I could play, and that happened to be Walter State. And yeah, I mean, it was an unbelievable opportunity for me to go there for 2 years and kind of show my talents.
Yeah, it was amazing. Your career, like I said, every time you seem to face some adversity when it comes to that, and I mean that's such a weird thing for so many athletes to have dealt with, right? COVID, because that's not something necessarily that you can go to someone else that experienced it and get advice on. It was something that we, like, as an entire society, were kind of figuring out as we went along how to get through it. But like that felt like that was again such a weird experience to have to go through and navigate through for someone who was still very young in their pitching career.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely kind of like you said, like in the situation I was in, I just had to kind of take a chance and hope that was the right decision, and it turned out to be. So very fortunate.
That's awesome. I know in the past you've mentioned that there was a little league coach when you were young that also kind of had a big impact on this journey. I mean, was that like the first time that you realized that maybe like this again was going to be something more than just a fun sport you were playing?
I mean, honestly, when I was younger, like I just played to have fun,
Yeah.
and I was fortunate enough to play on pretty good teams and travel ball up, over in Texas. And I think everyone on that team, we all had hopes and dreams of playing professional, and I was one of the only few that was fortunate enough to make it that far. But yeah, I mean, all the coaches that I've played for, I mean, all of them, and they've all kind of pushed me to
Yeah.
be the best pitcher and athlete that I could be, for sure.
Well, we were like we kind of do the sponsorship with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we were talking about mentorship just the other day. And like again, like you never know the impact that you can have on a young person's life as far as believing them in themselves or following their dreams. I think we all kind of get encouraged to do that, but at times it's hard to stay on that path. And again, yours wasn't the typical path to this point, but you definitely it appeared you did what you needed to do to make adjustments throughout that time and to get where you're at. So and
Yeah.
that's just in the decisions you were making. What was the biggest adjustment you made, like that you found success with as you kind of went through these different schools and different programs you were a part of?
Um, I mean, for sure, like from my 2 years at Walters, the biggest adjustment that I knew that I needed to make from year one to year two there was I just needed to strike more guys out, and I needed to walk less guys. That was kind of what I decided after my first year there that I needed to do in order to, kind of give myself a shot to get signed. And so I was able to achieve that, luckily. So
That's awesome. Well, is there a pitch right now that you're currently working on, or I mean, let's talk about your stuff in general. Before we go on tinkering, what's your pitch mix like for someone that might have never seen you throw before?
yeah, so just a kind of typical four seam fastball. I throw a curveball that I just try to throw as hard as I can, and then change up and a cutter that's always been a tougher pitch for me to throw, but at times it's really shined and really been helpful. So always working on that pitch. Sort of working on trying to get a slider going, but as of right now, the focus has been more on the cutter and kind of dialing that in for this season.
Is it the grip that makes it difficult for you? Is that what's hard about like learning the different pitches or throwing the different pitches well?
Just for me, it's a tougher pitch to me because I'm a big pronator.
Okay.
And so for me to kind of cut the ball, it kind of goes against what my body naturally wants to do.
Right. Right.
And so fighting that and trying to kind of get it to move to the other side of the plate is what we're trying to do. And I think we're in a good spot with it right now, and we'll continue to work on it.
That seems like something that would be effective if it's like essentially like the opposite of what your body and your arm wants you to do naturally.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be effective, especially if it's just a lot different from the fastball.
Right.
That's the big deal.
Do you, I mean, does arm slot, like trying to make sure everything kind of comes out of arm slot the same? Is that also difficult with throwing those different pitches?
It can be, for sure. I mean, sometimes when in my position, when you're trying to basically cut a fastball, you might tend to drop your arm a little bit. And so the battle is to try and keep the same arm angle and just kind of position your wrist in a different way in order to get the cut action.
That's interesting. It's interesting to me. I'm not nearly as knowledgeable when it comes to pitching as my co-host at times can be, but I definitely dig like understanding it more and why it not only is difficult, because I think a lot of fans might just think, why don't you just throw that pitch, or why don't you just change and do that? And it's much easier said than done.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Is there like, are you an analytics guy? Do you factor in analytics a lot, or how do you approach a start?
I think everybody has to factor in analytics a little bit. I try to go more off of feel and visuals, just because that's kind of how coming up through JUCO, we didn't have analytics, so
Sure.
it was all feel and visual. So if it looked good and it felt good, we kind of rolled with that, and usually it would play good. So at the end of the day, I still go off of what looks and feels good, and then if the metrics line up, then that's just an extra plus. And if they don't, then we'll find a way to kind of try and get it all to line up.
Did the analytics kind of just help once you started getting that as part of your game, like just to have that additional information?
Yeah, once I got into pro ball, and I kind of had to take a little bit of a class on analytics because I didn't know anything.
Sure. Sure.
So once I kind of learned all the analytics, it's definitely something that can propel you a little bit if you can understand all those numbers and everything. So
yeah, I mean, we were talking about not too long ago, but it seems like it's one of those things that with baseball, it can be, you can have all the analytics on a hitter, but today could be their day, right? Like, so you never know when today is going to be the day that the guy's hitting like 186 is going to have a 4-for-4 day, and I feel like you have to. The biggest thing is being able to adapt. Yes, use that information and the knowledge of what their tendencies are, but obviously the feel of the game, and like you said, just being able to kind of, I guess, approach it like that with your experience kind of gives you at least both ends of it a little more than maybe someone that had more analytics as they were coming up. But
sure.
Do you enjoy, I know you're kind of a strikeout guy, low walk. Do you enjoy attacking hitters, or do you kind of like try to outthink them?
No, I definitely kind of just want to go after them. The kind of going back into the numbers, but the statistics on getting a batter into an 0-2 count are very far into the pitcher's favor than they are the hitter. So at the end of the day, that's kind of the goal, is to get strike one and then get strike two, and from there just get an out. I mean, you kind of get to a point where an out is just as valuable as a strikeout. So I mean, strikeouts are fun, but outs are outs.
Yeah. Well, and I know you also had a 6-inning no-hitter. I was listening to you talk about that a little bit. I totally understand your perspective as far as like it's still just a 6-inning no-hitter, but what did it feel like for you to go out there and get the job done that thoroughly at this level?
I mean, to be honest, looking back on it, I was just kind of happy to get through the 5th inning.
Yeah.
That's something that I haven't really done a lot in my minor league career so far. So
yeah,
anytime I'm able to get into the 6th or 7th inning, I take that as a plus. Whether I've given up 3 runs or 0, or struck out 10 or struck out 4. I mean, as long as you're eating innings and taking some pressure off the bullpen, and the team is in the position to win, I mean, it's always a plus.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, is that due to like you being on a limited pitch count, or has it been like something you're trying to work down where you're trying to be more efficient?
I mean, yeah. During that game specifically, we were on pitch count. I think it was a 90 pitch max, something like that. And so obviously efficiency wise, you probably want to be a little bit less than that through 6 if you're trying to get deeper into games, which is ultimately a goal as a starter for sure.
For sure. Well, what's your pre-start routine like? Do you have are you a creature of habit where you do kind of the same thing before you start?
Yeah, I tend to. I tend to eat the same thing beforehand. Usually I go with a Chipotle quesadilla, just something kind of
Let's
light.
go. Yeah.
Nothing
Plenty of
too
carbs in that.
Yeah, you get some carbs, some protein, and it's not not too greasy or anything.
Sure.
So that was kind of my go-to, and pop an energy drink at some point before the game. Do like the same kind of warm-up mobility routine and the arm care stuff I do beforehand. It's all been the same for 3 years now. So
it's always amazing to me how important that stuff is, but I totally get it, especially like when it comes to we've heard from starting pitchers that they don't like to get too amped up before a game. Do you find yourself? I know you said energy drink, but do you try to still keep your self at a certain kind of middle level?
Yeah, I try to do everything to calm myself down.
Yeah.
So I try not to listen to some super rock music or anything
Yeah,
like that.
Some super hype music.
Yeah, I try to listen to stuff that's kind of gonna calm me down, because when I'm calm, that's usually when I'm kind of more locked in.
Yeah.
So anything to kind of get the heart rate down, just because I get pretty nervous before starts. I mean, I figure most guys do, but
Sure.
For me, anything to kind of get the heart rate down and get into like a comfort zone for me will help for sure.
That's amazing. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to have more with Kohl Drake on the other side of this break, including we got to talk to him about the Frisco Lazy River, because you guys know I'm a big fan of that. So we're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you guys go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, I'll tell you, we might not have Corvette money yet, but we'll have Corvette money soon. But if you don't have Corvette money, much like I don't have Corvette money, maybe we could all win one. And that's possible because our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos are giving away 4 fabulous Corvettes as part of their fabulous Corvette giveaway running January 16th through April 24th. That's 4 casinos, 4 Corvettes, and 4 big chances for me and Damon to win a new car. And that's really all we're in this for. It's at participating locations at all their casinos, and right now you can qualify by going in on Fridays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. They have hourly drawings for free bonus play or for finale entry. On Tuesdays and Saturdays, you can earn 4 times the entries when you play with the card. And on Thursdays from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., they have their hot seat finale qualifier where you play with the card for your shot to be entered into that finale for those Corvettes. Also, there's exclusive swag giveaways throughout the promotion, so do not miss out on all the fun happening out at all 4 of the Gila River Resorts and Casinos casino locations. For more information, visit playathila.com, and do not miss your chance to accelerate into luxury. Play, earn, and win at any one of their 4 casino locations. And now, as I've said time and time again, is a great time in the Big 2-6 to get started on your home projects, and a great place to do so is at the Window Depot. Before summer comes around, you might want to get some new windows for your house to help keep that hot Arizona sun out, and the Window Depot is obviously the place to do that at, but it's also the place for so much more. They've been serving Arizona since 2002, and while they started with windows, they are so much more than that. We're talking windows, doors, skylights, cabinets, countertops, sinks, and everything else you are looking for to get your projects done in 2026. And if you need something custom, no problem. They got you covered there as well. Contractors love the Window Depot for their job site ready quantities, their unbeatable prices, their expert service, and no membership being required for contractors and no membership being required for you. And when they say custom or best service, that's because, of course, you can get in-house designers free of charge at the Window Depot. If you need help bringing your vision to life, their in-house designers are there to help you plan your space at no extra cost. From cabinets to countertops, they make it simple. So visit the Window Depot right now to get started on your next project, or visit their website at thewindowdepot.com and get started on your next project today. All right, Cole. Well, we got a question from one of our viewers right now. I thought it was a great question from our guy, Book's Journey. He said, what is your first impression with the new pitching coaches in the Dbacks organization? Have you had a chance to work with anybody here yet? I know you were obviously there in the minor league system, but what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I got to work with Doug and Badge in Reno, and
Yes.
I mean, both of them are awesome. I love them. They, the transition from the Rangers to the Dbacks, they made it very very easy, and they didn't put any pressure on me. And the pitching coordinator at the time, he also made it a good smooth transition. And right now working with Cap and Do, big league pitching coaches. I mean, they're awesome as well. They've been helping me dial in everything in these early kind of pre-spring bullpens and stuff. So I love all the pitching coaches so far that I met. They're all super helpful.
That's awesome, and I'm sure you're well aware of the PCL and Reno and the elevation and all of that. How do you approach kind of that challenge, and do you just find yourself kind of mentally knowing that it's just a more difficult environment to pitch in?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to understand it's going to be tough to pitch in certain stadiums in the league.
Sure.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You can't let it get to your head. You just got to go out there and pitch how you normally pitch, and usually you'll end up just fine. I mean, if you let yourself get all worked up about pitching in Albuquerque or Reno or Salt Lake, wherever it is, like
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to perform well. I think my last outing was in Salt Lake last year before I went on the IL, but that's 4,000 feet of elevation, and the performance was still there. So
Yeah. No, that's, I mean, again, I think fans that, keep an eye on the results or mostly the statistics kind of understand that as well from Reno. We've kind of joked here that like a 5 ERA there it might as well be like a sub 2 in Major League Baseball. So, but again, this is just a fun time for the Diamondbacks, considering that you guys came over here and really you, Mitch Bratt, and David Hageman all have just substantially helped this system look so much better when it comes to pitching. But I got to ask, what is it like to now potentially end up as a teammate with the guy that you were traded for here in Merrill Kelly? It feels like it could be a possibility very soon for you.
yeah, I mean, it'll be I think it'll be exciting. It's not very often that a guy gets traded and then ends up with the opportunity to be a teammate with him.
Right.
I actually met Merrill Kelly last week, and he's a super nice guy. It seems like a guy maybe I could potentially get a few tips from here in spring. So we'll see.
For sure. Yeah, he's a great guy, and I don't know why, but I definitely see you guys getting along very well. But Merrill's just a great teammate and a great dude to talk to. And overall, I mean, again, this is a team where we've talked about the opportunity being wide open, but from your perspective, does it feel like joining the Diamondbacks has kind of moved you that much closer to the majors and being part of a starting rotation?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it gave me a better opportunity. I mean, the opportunities are all the same. Everything is
Sure.
performance based. You know what I mean? So sure, now maybe if I perform well at the beginning of the season, if I'm back in Reno, then maybe I'll get a shot. I hope that I'm a guy that they can look to hopefully come up and help win games. But yeah, at the end of the day, like everything is performance based. So
Got to take care of what you got to take care of on your end, essentially, right?
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I know we talked a little bit about Frisco and Texas. We visited Frisco as part of our trip over for the All-Star game in 2024. It was a beautiful ballpark, but my favorite part was the lazy river. Have you ever had a chance to get into the lazy river there at Frisco?
I mean, I've definitely had the chance. I can't say that I ever have. I know guys because Mondays are off in the minor leagues. I know guys would go into the stadium and throw, and then go sit out by the lazy river. We get in.
That's right.
I was fortunate enough that I got to live at home when I was in Frisco, so I wasn't as close to the stadium as everybody else was.
Right.
But looking back, I kind of wish that I would have taken up on that opportunity at least one time.
It was definitely a unique way to watch a baseball game. Luckily enough, Chase Field has a pool in it, so we can maybe still make some sort of aquatic activity happen for you here soon. But just in regards to like you as a fan, is there anybody that you like kind of, I guess, not necessarily emulated, but was there a pitcher that you kind of looked up to and saw as a big inspiration in your career and just somebody that you were a fan of?
I mean, I think in the time frame that I really grew up and loved baseball, that was like right in Clayton Kershaw's prime. Seeing him kind of dominate in those early 2010s and winning the MVP and the Cy Young, I think in 2014. I mean, it's hard to say that you don't want to be like that guy when you're 14 years old. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, watching him dominate was awesome, especially because I mean I grew up. My parents are from the Bay Area. We grew up as Giants fans, and watching him always dominate the Giants sucked, but it was also fun to watch.
Yeah. It's like you hate it, but you got to respect it as well when he's as good as
Exactly.
he was. Yeah. All right. Well, I got to ask you some fun questions just about the minor leagues overall. Did you have anybody that was like your funniest teammate? Has there been anybody that you have had that just kept the clubhouse kind of in stitches with their behavior?
I can give you two answers. I can give you one from the Dbacks and one from the Rangers.
All right, let's go.
I would say for the Dbacks, probably Dylan Ray. He's pretty funny. He's just a big old goober. He loves to have fun. And then with the Rangers, there was a guy, Gavin Collier. He was always him and Ryan Lovis. They're probably tied. Ryan Lovis is one of my best friends, and he's just an absolute, like, they're both just goobers. They love to have fun, make everything fun. Everybody around them has fun. So
these are the people that help keep like things into perspective, right? Like where you're sometimes just there's a lot there, like you said, you got a lot of anxiety, perhaps a lot of nerves, and it's just good to have guys like that around that help lighten the mood.
For sure. Anytime there's a tense situation, usually they can say something and they'll just get a little chuckle out of everybody.
That's my favorite. You're gonna have a great time in the Diamondbacks clubhouse. I'll tell you that much because there's a few of those guys. But if you weren't pitching, I know you've played other positions, but maybe if you weren't pitching currently, what position would you want to play, or what position do you think you would be good at playing?
The only position I really grew up playing, especially once I got to high school, is first base.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say first base. Although I would be a very bad hitter. I was a very bad hitter in high school. So I'd probably just have to put a bunt down and hope that I could beat it out, to be honest.
Were you glad the days of pitchers hitting went away?
For me, yes.
Yeah.
I always felt way more stressed, way more anxious about hitting. I felt like there was a lot more pressure to perform in that aspect than there was for pitching. Maybe that's just because pitching became easier to me, but
Sure.
Yeah, as soon as I got to college and I was done hitting, I was just like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, I can understand that. Well, what's one thing that Dbacks fans should know about you that probably wouldn't show up on a stat sheet?
Oh, I don't know. I think the guys at DLLS asked me this question, and I didn't have an answer for them right away. But now it's more of like a fun fact. I don't have a cat, but I love cats. Like I keep telling my girlfriend, you need to get a cat. I don't know what it is about cats. I love them.
They are game changers. Cats are amazing. We didn't own, like my wife and I, we've been together for a very long time, and we didn't have cats forever. And then once we got a cat, it's like we can't stop having. We need them in our lives. And like our current cat right now is honestly the coolest cat I've ever owned. Just as far as like he comes to his name when you call him. He almost acts exactly like a dog because he hangs out with the dogs all day long. But
what about Baxter?
Oh, Baxter. Yeah, we got a cat as a mascot around here. It doesn't make much sense, but he is a cat, and he is awesome as well. So we're friends. I'll introduce you. Don't worry about it.
He's a bobcat.
He's a bobcat. Oh. And it goes back to just to give you the history. The ballpark here used to be called Bank One Ballpark. So to shorten it, we called it Bob. And they decided that instead of having a snake mascot, we would have a bobcat, which in no way could be confusing at a later time when there's not that particular sponsor for the building. But we will never give up Baxter as our house cat around here. So we love him. Speaking of Chase Field, when you picture yourself, pitching there, is anything come to mind? Like, is that something that, like, now that you're a part of this organization, you've kind of taken a look at that ballpark?
I've never gotten the opportunity to go there yet, but I do imagine, hopefully, if and when I debut, I do get to do it at home. I think that'd be awesome. First time seeing Chase Field will probably, during your debut, it'd be surreal, I think. So
they're making some electric changes over there, so it should be beautiful when the season starts. So, well, before we let you get out of here, I just wanted to ask, what message would you give to young pitchers, young players that are maybe end up following a similar path as you, not the same path, but a path that's non-conventional and at times involves some tough decisions for you to make it through and make it to where you're at?
I mean, I'd kind of say what my dad would tell me during those times is, trust your gut, work hard, and bet on yourself.
Yeah.
That's all you can really do is trust your gut, bet on yourself, and make sure you work hard.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for the advice, and go adopt a cat. Let's get a cat in your life so that we can solve that thing. But again, man, Kohl Drake, appreciate you joining us. Looking forward to watching you pitch in 2026, sir.
Hey, thank you for having me. I look forward to it.
Excellent, man. Thank you again. All right. Well, that's amazing. And again, great to have somebody who is going to, be such a big part of the Diamondbacks' future, hopefully. I know that, again, this farm system at times did not have, maybe the prospects we were hoping it would, but that Merrill Kelly helped bring 3 solid players over, including Kohl, as well as Mitch Bratt and David Hageman. So, but we are going to talk about another pitcher, a guy who we also brought back, and that was also part of that trade. One Merrill Kelly. He was named as part of the 2026 MLB All Underrated team as the starting pitcher. And of course he was, because Merrill Kelly is totally underrated. We're going to talk about that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. I never get through an episode of this show without being thirsty, and thanks to our friends at Circle K, I stopped by and wet my whistle because it is America's thirst stop, and it's America's thirst stop for less. So I save money every single day because I'm an Inner Circle Rewards fuel or member. You can be too. I say fuel because it'll save you on gas, but it'll save you on so much more than that, including getting yourself 79-cent Polar Pops and those 99-cent Frosters for Inner Circle members only, as well as, of course, you'll save 25 cents off per gallon when you buy 3 Coca-Cola 20-ounce products. Not to mention the fact that they have their Inner Circle fuel days all the time for us with 40 cents off per gallon. So do not miss out on all of these savings. Sign up right now. It's easy to download the app and get enrolled. Then you just use your phone number to score on all sorts of deals. So join the Inner Circle for free right now by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And I'll tell you, while you're at Circle K, it's a great time to pick up some Arizona Lottery multiplier scratcher tickets because they help multiply the good things in life, like maybe all of those wonderful drinks you can get at Circle K, or perhaps so much more, like, again, getting me and Damon new cars. We want to multiply the amount of vehicles that are functioning in our lives. And of course, multiplier scratchers can help us with that. They can also help us multiply the great things in life like vacation time, relaxation time, and celebration time. So with over $270 million in prizes, you could win big to do more of the things you want to multiply in life. Multiplier tickets start at just $1 and have prizes up to $5 million. So of course, do not miss out. These are available all over Arizona with access to over 3,500 retailers across the state. You can play whenever and wherever you'd like. Love to play with Arizona Lottery. Must be 21 or over to play. Well, Damon, we got news, and it's, I guess, I don't know how you want to consider it. I don't know if you want to say that it's surprising news. Probably not, but Anthony Castrovince released his annual all underrated team for MLB.com. And these are the best players in baseball, essentially, that did not appear on the MLB Network's top 100 player list. So, of course, Nico Horner should be on there, right? Right? I don't think he is. But anyway, any of those guys on the top 100 list, they are eliminated from contention for this team. And while there are players on the list that could be higher or lower, you can't be considered a top 100 player and also underrated. Those things, as Anthony Castrovince would point out, would defy the Earth's metaphysical principles. So when we look at this list, there are some familiar names, names that Damon definitely wanted to add to this team during the offseason, like Taylor Ward. But the starting pitcher of choice for the all underrated team is Merrill Kelly. And of course, we know Merrill Kelly is underrated. We know we here in Arizona underrate Merrill Kelly. Am I wrong about that, Damon? Like, I'm not saying we don't love him and appreciate him and embrace him as our own, considering how long his career, has been here in the Valley. But like, even when talking about bringing Merrill Kelly back, I would say that a lot of people don't even know how good Merrill's numbers were with the Diamondbacks last year and where they compare to essentially the best pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe what we're talking about there, Derek, is in particular that, people are not necessarily thrilled to just run back a team that didn't make the playoffs the last 2 seasons with high expectations.
And I said that a lot, right?
And that's not really fair to Merrill Kelly in particular.
It's not, but I did say that was going to be a factor quite a bit. I warned people that the biggest flaw with bringing Merrill Kelly back isn't his performance, or it's not the concept of bringing him back, Damon, but it's the idea here that you're running it back with the same guys. And I think he kind of gets thrown into being a mediocre, subpar pitcher with the rest of this staff, when with the Diamondbacks, he was quite excellent in 2025 with his 3.22 ERA in 22 starts, his 3.58 FIP, his 1.057 WHIP. These are all like incredible numbers. And Anthony Castrovince said, that Kelly's long and winding road has him back in the desert, and that's a good thing. This guy was drafted 3 times, Damon and I, 3 times out of different Arizona schools. First, he was drafted out of high school. Didn't like that idea because he was drafted by the Baltimore Orioles in the 37th round of the MLB amateur draft. I didn't even know it had 37 rounds, Damon. That's crazy. 37 rounds, drafted by the Orioles from Desert Mountain High School.
Isn't there 40?
There is 40, yeah. And then he did a little better the next year. He was drafted by the Cleveland Guardians. I'm not going to say the name they have listed here. In the 22nd round of the 2009
the horror
amateur draft out of Yavapai College, which Damon was telling me before the show actually does produce some pretty good ball players up there. Not a bad team for it being a community college.
Yeah, look it up.
Prescott.
Yavapai College has some pretty solid baseball program in history.
Yeah, and then he was drafted once again in the 8th round of the 2010 amateur draft by the Tampa Bay Rays. So yes, Merrill has had a weird career, including playing in Korea and then coming over here for the Diamondbacks at a fairly late age in his career. He came back here at 30 in 2019 and gave the Diamondbacks 7 seasons. This will be his 8th season, or 6.5 seasons if you want to count him being traded at the deadline there. But
essentially, Merrill has only really been the Merrill that we've come to know in either the state of Arizona or in Korea.
Correct.
Like that's his second home.
That's the only place
this is his first home.
Yeah.
And he's good here, whether it's high school, community college, pros, but anywhere else in the United States, no bueno. But then you go to Korea and he's him again. So I Merrill Kelly, Korea and Arizona, that's his winter or his summer home, Derek.
In the last 3 seasons, Merrill Kelly has been right up there with Framber Valdez, Freddie Peralta, Logan Webb, and Ranger Suarez as far as ERA plus.
Wow.
In 3 seasons compiled, his data compiled here, it's a record of 29-18, 3.51 ERA, and an ERA plus that's 21% better than league average. His ERA plus ranks 12th in all of MLB in that span. So over the last 3 seasons, Merrill Kelly essentially has been the 12th best pitcher in baseball. And yes, I mean, again, if you want to say unsung hero, guy that's just constantly been living in Zach Gallen's shadow as the ace of this team when he was secretly the true ace over the past 3 seasons, and did it in the way that I've described it, like the least sexy way possible. Merrill just does his job. He's just a blue collar worker that goes out there and his job is creating pitches and making outs. That's his job. And I don't know. I think that maybe the fact that he is a bit older, doing this at an older age, he doesn't have that like younger superstar status, right? Where it's like, a Justin Verlander or even a Max Scherzer, where, now at this age of their career, if they were still doing it at 37, you're like, damn, this guy's timeless. Like when you look at Merrill's stats, he's almost been getting better as the years have gone on. And that's probably the most impressive thing about him,
Yeah. I mean, well, he doesn't have the miles on that arm that a lot of people would.
That's true.
At that age, right? So yeah. I think that does contribute a little bit where like maybe his arm is more that of like a 34-year-old's, 35-year-old's than it is of, a 38-year-old at this point. And the Diamondbacks, like he's the success story of the Mike Hazen era, I think, when
For
it comes
sure.
to pitching. Like, there is no other, like, I guess you could say trading for Zach Gallen, but you did give away a really good player in Jazz Chisholm, as, maybe as frustrating of a player he can be at times. He is still a quality MLB player. So, I think Merrill Kelly, like, in terms of, like, savvy signings, like, guys that worked out, you can't say that anyone even comes close to touching what he's accomplished. And so, yeah, we bring him back. That stat that you said about what was it, the ERA plus, or was it
ERA plus? Yeah, ERA plus.
Wherever he was tied with Framber and Ranger Suarez, that was extremely impressive. I mean, that's quality company to be keeping.
He's just in there with all of those guys, and like those are the guys that are receiving these huge contracts. Merrill Kelly just got $20 million a year for 2 seasons. Obviously, his age plays a huge factor there. You know what I mean? And also, so does the fact that perhaps he does have a shorter track record of success, but that's only because he has a far more limited career, like you said, less miles on his arm in Major League Baseball than these other guys do, right? But again, over his career, his statistics have been amazing. We pulled his career stats overall, and like Merrill just finds a way to get it done. I mean, this ERA that he had for the Diamondbacks in 2025 is his second best in his career, but I don't know if you really want to factor in the 2.59 ERA he had in 2020, which was the COVID shortened season where he only made, 5 starts. So I don't think that that's necessarily, what we're going to do here. But Merrill's just had incredible numbers his entire time as a Diamondback. And again, he continues to find ways at this point of his career to get better. This is his career in 7 seasons: a 3.77 ERA, a 3.99 FIP, a 1.197 WHIP, and all of this is in 1,008 1/3 innings pitched. He's accumulated 15.9 baseball reference WAR, and he has done this where he has averaged, close to 4 WAR or close to 3.5 WAR per season. So, I mean,
and as I put it on the picture, Derek, he pitched an absolute gem in Game 2 of the World Series, and here's him walking off the mound, if you remember, where he smacked his glove when he's walking in. I mean, and it was a masterclass. And who other than Merrill Kelly after that Game 1 that you blow to go out there and just shove and win that game for you, because the Rangers just didn't put up any offense. And I know the Diamondbacks offense also was undeniable in that game, but that was just such a Merrill Kelly performance of like back against the wall. Who else do you want out there on the mound? And he just continues to be the steadiest pitcher that we've had in a really, really long time in this organization. I do think that it should be more exciting than it is to get him back when you kind of think about all of these things.
When you look at the numbers and what he's done in his career for this team, right? But like you said, that was my biggest concern this whole time. Bringing back Merrill Kelly, to me, was the heist of the century. We got that guy, Kohl Drake, that we just talked to, on top of 2 other solid, pitching prospects. And Merrill Kelly is still a member of this team, right? It did cause us to upset the Rangers organization and go out and cause them to get Mackenzie Gore, but that's neither here nor there. I only have control over so much on this program, right? By the way, Ocean View Coffee Shop says Merrill Kelly, a.k.a. Chris Peterson. It's Chris Elliott is the answer we were looking for. Chris Elliott, and you could also call him Woogie. And you could also make all the Groundhog's Day jokes you want to about him. I've been doing that now for 7 years, and I'm going to continue to do that. And Merrill's in on the jokes, and sometimes he does the little scratch that Chris Elliott does in that movie when we're interviewing him on purpose just for fun. But again, we should be very thankful to have Merrill Kelly not only as a part of the Diamondbacks, but kind of as a part of this Valley baseball history. I mean, he is one of the most successful professional baseball players that Arizona has ever produced. When you look at the history we talked about, the teams he's played for. And again, even coming back to this team when given a choice to play essentially for a number of organizations across baseball, Arizona was home for him, and he wanted to come back here and be a part of the next few years with this team, right? That does show that. I mean, I know money was probably a big part of it, and coming back home also a part of it, but it has to show that Merrill still believes maybe more in running this team back than we do, perhaps.
I mean, I've been trying to get everybody hyped up and say that this
know.
season's not
know.
done before it starts
You've
forever.
been criticizing
Then
my,
Kyle Tucker happened. And
Yeah.
now I'm sitting here and I'm like,
Yeah.
what's even the freaking point?
Yeah, what's the point
man?
of it? Why are we even doing this show?
We can make a wild card though. We
Yeah.
need positive regression, Derek. I'm going to keep saying it. We need positive regression. The luck has been unreal levels of bad the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
You've had insane amounts of injuries that have held you back.
We deserve it. We deserve people to stay healthy. We deserve them to have the best seasons of their career.
Good injury luck and relief pitchers that don't all suck. Like if we could just bat 50%, or I'm sorry, bat 500, but hit on 50% of the relievers that Hazen traded for at the deadline last year, we'll be all right. If we can hit on 50% of them. But I mean, it's just hard to feel that that's necessarily going to be the case when you're just a fan of this organization. You watch them roll out bad bullpen after bad bullpen. But seriously, if the bullpen can be league average, close to it, in the top 20, I think we're talking about a team that has a chance to really make a wild card run, and then there's no telling what that leads to. I put out the stats the other day when Sir Anthony signed with the White Sox, right? Which just like a
heartbreaking moment.
A crack
for you.
in my soul happened in that moment.
Yeah.
But when I was looking through it, I was like, these are our last 5 bullpens that we've had. And Derek, it's disgusting. It's baffling what the numbers that are. And you want to know the one year that it wasn't just absolutely horrific? 2023. And guess what the bullpen was?
What do you mean? What, the ERA?
Yeah.
3.75.
It was, or I'm sorry, like the ranking in the league.
Ranking in the league. 17.
18th. All it required was a close to league average, but slightly below league average bullpen. And
That's what I was telling Jesse on yesterday's
show. The goddamn World Series, Derek.
That's all we need.
2025, 27th. 2024, 25th. 2023, 18th. 2022, 25th. 2021, 28th. An average finish of 24.6 among all MLB teams the last 5 seasons. And I just said that, like, if you're going to go out there and you're not going to make moves, which Mike Hazen did not do this year, that he bears that criticism from me over the entire course of the season. And when people want to come into our post games and be like,
scream about
Torrey sucks, his bullpens are the worst. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to go, you're a moron. You don't know anything about baseball. Leave this chat and never come back. Don't actually. Please,
no, don't.
Please,
We don't.
Please come back.
All of you.
Please
don't
come back
and
argue with us. I love it. But also at the same time, it's just it's baffling. Like Mike Hazen he's put it to the side. He's believing in these guys that he's traded for, and now there is no excuse. I think if this bullpen sucks again, it's entirely on him after 5 straight years of bad bullpens.
And it's the reason why we've discussed so many players being added to this team. We just went out on a limb. And we're crazy talking about Framber Valdez being added to this team. We know we don't have money for that. We know there's no money in the banana stand. But what we know, Damon, is that they will just have this weird out of nowhere desire to add somebody. And that could be any player at any point during the offseason, especially as these big name free agents stay available on the market and aren't getting picked up by other teams. The reason why it's a problem at any point is if the Diamondbacks do spend, even on a Zach Gallen, even if they bring Zach Gallen back on a deal very similar to what they got Merrill Kelly on, 2-year, $40 million, let's say $45 million, there is still going to be a huge part of me and of you and of a lot of people in this chat. They're like, why couldn't we have spent some of that money on relief pitching when that's really what we needed? That's what's going to be the result of adding anybody to this team that is a, $15 million plus deal for 2026. You might be able to structure it a different way or whatever to save some money this year, but at the end of the day, it is going to feel like they didn't do enough this offseason to add to the bullpen. Now, there was an underrated relief pitcher on this same list that Merrill Kelly appeared on, and we are going to talk about him perhaps being our last hope tomorrow. That's Danny Kalum, and I know this is the bottom of the barrel. This is a veteran relief pitcher. We have no idea how much he has left in the tank, but he is an option potentially, and we're going to talk about him tomorrow. The Diamondbacks did add an arm, Damon, to this team, and it's a guy that knows how to spell his goddamn name right. Derek Law, spelled Derek, signs a minor league deal with the Dbacks, and If that name sounds familiar to you, yes, it is the guy that absolutely shoved in Major League Baseball just a few years ago, Damon. In fact, you have his Baseball Savant page from 2024, and this is the guy we just added on.
Does that not fire you up a little bit?
How could it not fire me up when we're sitting here talking about how much we are in need of any kind of help when it comes to the bullpen? And again, this is like signing these guys to minor league deals. It's a savvy way to at least get them in the organization and give them an opportunity. They also protected the players that they needed to protect from the Rule 5 draft. So when it comes to the 40-man roster, there's still moves that they could make here. Some of them might be unfortunate for guys that are part of the 40-man roster, but I mean, Kohl hit the nail on the head earlier when he said he has to perform. Everybody has to perform. And that includes any guy that currently is on the 40-man roster that's in the bullpen. Because the Diamondbacks have two of these guys now who, quite frankly, have put up very good numbers in the past, but Derek Lowe missed the entirety of the 2025 season. So at this point, this guy is putting up some big numbers, has quite the arsenal of pitches, and really could be a game changer. I mean, he's been an effective reliever, 2.60 ERA in 90 innings pitched in 2024.
He had a 1.9 B WAR, which is pretty dang good for a non-closing reliever.
Yeah. Recovering from a flexor tendon injury, which caused him to miss the entirety of the 2025 season. So
that's scary. It sounds scary.
It does. And again, that's the reason why they're signing him to a low-risk minor league deal, right? It doesn't mean that he's going to stay healthy the entire year. Doesn't mean that things couldn't go bad. But this, once again, this is the risk that the Dbacks needed to take in order to improve this team. None of these players right now are going to be players that, again, get you excited. It's the reason why we said that earlier about Merrill Kelly. Like, even with the numbers Merrill Kelly put up, even with the caliber of starting pitchers that he's part of that class as far as ERA plus is concerned and results, it's just still hard to not feel like we're doing the exact same thing, which did not yield the results we wanted. It did not yield a playoff run in any way, shape, or form. But again, the Diamondbacks bullpen, as we saw last year, was all over the place. I mean, they set a franchise record for the number of guys that got an opportunity to save. So
not a good thing.
Yeah, not a good thing to have.
I'm looking
not a good record to be set.
I'm looking at his Baseball Reference right now, Derek. I mean, this is not a guy that has only had, one good season. He has had a few good seasons in his career. Yeah. I mean, his first season in 2016, when he debuted for the Giants, he pitched in 61 games, had a 2.13 ERA, 1.4 WAR, and that was obviously a long time ago. But then he kind of struggled a little bit. In the following years, had a couple ERAs in the 4s, one that was 7.4, which is just awful in 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he kind of reached 30 years old and he went to the Cincinnati Reds in 2022, he was 31. He had a 4.08 ERA, and he did so in 15 games pitched, then followed that up 54 games pitched with a 3.6 ERA in Cincinnati, which is pretty darn good. And isn't that ballpark notorious for being a hitter's ballpark as well?
Yeah.
1.0 WAR in that season. And then last year, he follows that up with that the 2024 year, he has that 1.9 WAR season in 75 appearances with 2.6 ERA.
Yeah, his two last seasons.
His last 2 seasons were maybe his best 2 seasons that he's had, and you could argue. And I think that if he can get anywhere close to that, he will 100% be in this bullpen next season.
I mean, he even started 3 games for the Reds in 2023. So again, not something that we want. I'm sure it was probably an opener situation or something like that. But regardless, he could definitely be somebody that makes this roster and can contribute at a major league level with his experience. So the moves aren't the moves we wanted to see them make. It's no Pete Fairbanks. It's no Sir Anthony Dominguez. And it might not even be a Danny Kalum. But again, we are going to explore that tomorrow. One other note before we move on is that Dominic Canzone, old friend alert, also made the list as DH in a very limited capacity last year. The former Dbacks slashed 300, 358, .481 in 269 plate appearances and 82 games played. So even though it's a short season, it's still enough to maybe break your heart that guy once wore an Arizona Diamondbacks uniform and is hitting 300. So I like to give you guys reasons to be sad about stuff. One reason not to be sad is that I don't know if you guys heard or saw, but we're all huge Blake Shelton fans around here now. And that's because Blake Shelton is apparently fans of us, or at least the Cardinals show. Damon and I would like to believe that he also watches this podcast, or at least that Gwen does.
Bo told me, and I know this isn't really about you, Derek. So if you mind, just maybe you could just
no.
pop off the screen for a second.
I refuse to do that.
I'll take it from here.
No. But I don't like this.
Bo told me that had heard from someone in a box at a Cardinals game that Blake Shelton had previously mentioned that he loves Johnny and Bo and listens to PHNX Cardinals, and that was about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one Damon Fairall, I don't know if you remember, producer of the PHNX Cardinals show, 9 months ago.
That. Yeah.
For a good 2 years.
So, like, right when they changed over to Noah, things started to get good, and he liked the show, is what you're saying? Or
no, I'm saying that he knows me.
Oh.
I don't know if he knows who the mayor is, but he knows the dog.
I don't love that.
I mean, he does.
I don't love that. I don't love that.
Apparently, Johnny and Bo said that they didn't believe it when they heard that. They were like, whatever, that's BS. That's not a thing. And then this happened, and they're like, oh, I guess that was a thing that did happen back in the day. But
I don't know. I'm with Mark on this one. He said the state of Arizona has a professional football team. Never heard of them. In fact, the Suns are giving away football jerseys, I believe, at tonight's game, and I told them that they're our football team now. They take over.
Did you see the villain shirts that they're doing?
Oh, I need a Dylan the Villain shirt. Somebody get me a Dylan the Villain shirt. I need it.
Those are so
why is he not in an MF Doom mask? That's my biggest problem is why is he not in an MF Doom mask? They went Dr. Doom and they could have gone MF Doom, but that's just neither here nor there.
Those are so fire, dude.
The point of this is that Blake Shelton is trying to get us to 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's doing his part. You should be too. So if you could at least tell a friend about us, or, I don't know, make a fake account and follow us, we would appreciate beyond what you know. Like, we are so close to 50K. I think we're 600 subscribers away. We've never been closer. It feels like it's going to happen, and we can do it with your help. So, again, appreciate you guys that have already subscribed. And, again, if you're here and you have not subscribed, I don't know how you found us. I know a guy yesterday came in clowning my mustache. I hope he subscribed, and I hope you subscribe as well.
What was he saying?
Oh, he said that he asked AI to give him a podcast with 2 bad mustaches. And then it was me and Jesse on the screen.
Oh, I thought it was me and you.
No, it was me and Jesse.
Darn it. I was really hoping it was me.
If it was me alone, I would accept it. But I will not stand for you insulting Jesse's mustache. That's for sure.
No Jesse slander allowed on this podcast.
Absolutely not.
But I thought he was talking about me and you, and I was like, that's fantastic. We should make that our banner,
like our endorsement. Yeah, like here's our endorsement.
We should screenshot that comment and make it the literal banner of our Twitter account that says, "If I looked at AI with 2 awful mustaches." But man,
well,
I'm sad it wasn't about me.
Well, you shouldn't be sad because
I love it when I actually live for it when grown men make comments about my appearance. Because that's what they're concerned about, you know?
Yeah.
Isn't that like, I always find it extremely funny when you're like, what? That's what you went to right now?
I called myself a short round on the show not too long ago, and people poured in compliments calling me a cutie patootie, Damon. So it's like my confidence level.
You are cutie patootie, Derek.
In my mind, it's never been higher since that episode. My confidence is through the roof. Going around flirting with people for, discounts at stores and stuff, making it happen.
It just sucks because I get all of my self-confidence from random people that I've never met on Twitter before. So
100%.
It's just
my self-esteem is based on the number of views this episode.
Well, that's actually a fact.
That's true.
That's a genuine fact.
Yeah.
I'm being tongue-in-cheek when I say the other thing.
No, yeah,
I genuinely couldn't care less what some troll dork account that doesn't show their face thinks about what I look like, but when it comes to our numbers, yes, absolutely, I will. There are times where Derek and I will walk up to each other and just after a not so good show and go, what's the point?
What's the point?
What are we doing?
I mean, it's like after Kyle Tucker signed, we did the same thing for 2 straight hours.
Is this it? Is this the pod?
Me and David just wandered around aimlessly downtown Arizona. empty coffee cups in our hand, just devoid of any kind of
wringling some
Oh
change.
yeah. We were asking for money because we thought it was a wrap. We might as well end the show with what the Dodgers have done financially. But well, before we get out of here, Damon, I do have some good news for you. Your Dominican Republic team continues to give Team USA a run for their money. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. announced officially that he will return to international competition for the Dominican Republic.
DH,
joining probably DH. He's joining Fernando Tatis Jr., O'Neal Cruz, Christopher Sanchez, and Sandy Alcantara, all committed.
1 and starting pitcher 4. I mean, Sandy, come on.
That's fine. I mean, it's not a bad starting pitcher 4, I won't lie. But meanwhile, we've had some other notable additions as well. Ernie Clement joins Team USA. We got Earn Dog. We're gonna make it all the way to the championship and come up just short with Earn Dog onto the team. We also got Liam Hendricks and Travis Bazana both joining Australia, so that's cool. Like, I like the fact that this MLB participation is growing, and it's even guys that people might not be super familiar with, but they're representing their country and getting out there. I mean, it feels like we made fun of Great Britain with their font and their letters falling off their jersey, but they're out here recruiting. They're trying to find any kind of, like, was it an island we owned at one point? You're part of Great Britain. Come on. We had an expansive kingdom at one point. We can have all of you guys on this team.
I love Australian international events because I just love how their flag is blue and red and they wear green and yellow. Yeah. And it just fires me up. It's like, what are the 2 colors that are nowhere near the ones we just chose? Oh, yeah, that's the ones we wear. Electric.
For sure. Also electric, Randy Arozarena is back on Team Mexico. He's going to be wearing cowboy boots and his freaking hat, bro. I can't wait for that.
I love how Mexican Americans and just Mexicans in general, just they are so fired up by that dude joining their team. Like, it just, I don't know what it is, but they're like, it's the best. He was born to be a Mexican.
We love people that don't necessarily look like the norm. Like, that's why my wife was shocked when we went to Puerto Rico, because what do Puerto Ricans look like? Guess what? Americans. When you go to Puerto Rico, there are people of every race, every color, everything. Like, it's amazing, right? And so, I mean, in certain countries, there's things where adding those players, especially guys that definitely don't look like they would be part of the team necessarily, but are definitely representatives. They are part of that country's history. Jarren Duran, also a guy that's going to play for Team Mexico. Francisco,
really?
Yeah, Jarren Duran playing for Team Mexico. Francisco Lindor is playing for Team Puerto Rico, and of course, Vinny Pasquantino playing for Team Italy. So, standout MLB lineup. We have some guys that aren't participating. Jose Altuve will not play for Venezuela, despite expressing interest publicly online at one point. The Astros have asked him to sit out to prepare for the MLB season. I understand that a little bit more given Altuve's age than other players. Like, when you start having guys that are veterans in the league, as much as it might be beneficial for them to go out there and get extra playing time, you kind of do want them to get their bodies ready for the 162-game season.
Could be his last chance at a World Baseball Classic.
That's true. And that's definitely true.
And that's where I kind of sit there and I go, I don't know if I love that move.
Yeah.
For your franchise legend. I mean, it's possible that Jose Altuve, and they know this, that they would be way more privy than we would. It's possible he's like, it won't bother me to not play in it. But I know that, for World Cup, for example, that's the biggest tournament you can win. And I think, it's not like the World Baseball Classic is bigger than the World Series, but I feel like it's trying to elevate to a level of importance that, playing for your country means even more than playing for your club. And that's where I'm like, especially in a time where it feels like maybe Venezuela could use some cultural, pride to something to hang their hat on. Right. And it feels like that would be a cool thing for him to get to play in his last World Baseball Classic and captain the team and whatnot. But
that's a great point. Mike Trout also not in a similar situation, but again, health impacting his decision as well. He has a lingering knee issue, and he hasn't ruled it out, but it looks like, again, there's a good chance that he might not get to play on Team USA. And then Carlos Correa officially opted out of helping my tiny island.
I would say traitor.
Yeah. helping my tiny island win a championship. We
So-
needed
so
you, Carlos Correa.
Lindor is in.
Lindor's in, Carlos Correa is out.
Carlos Correa is
Yeah.
out. So the Astros are just scumbags.
I mean, you can come to whatever conclusion you want to come to when it comes to that. I'm not here to change your mind when it comes to how you feel about these teams. I think there's a lot of teams in baseball that already, or a lot of fans of baseball that already agree with that, Damon.
Is there any news on Gabby or Alec playing for Gabby playing for Venezuela?
I didn't
or Alec
see
playing for
anything.
Mexico?
I didn't see anything official about Alec, but I do know that I saw already some inklings that Alec Thomas would be returning for Team Mexico. But
okay, I like that for Alec. Let's get some high pressure ABs going early on and just see if we can get him into a decent rhythm. Because I think this is kind of maybe Alec Thomas's like last stand.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like you better hit this year and not be just a complete nothing at the plate, or else we're probably looking at upgrades potentially for you at least down the road. So I think that could be a good start for him, a good little runway.
Well, and we also know Japan is doing their thing. And as much as we talk about this being Dominican Republic versus Team USA, let's not count out the champs, because Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Seiya Suzuki, final decisions are still to come, but they will all most likely be part of Team Japan.
And they will scratch, claw, cheat to get anything that they want.
There it is.
Lie, gamble,
defer payments for World Baseball Classic players.
Gamble.
Yeah. Well, I will say this,
commit
Damon,
fraud.
as I'm trying to just like gloss over the salacious comments you're making, I will say that World Baseball Classic is so amazingly unique and cool that it's become this. I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, is the participation from the top players, no matter what country they currently play for or whatever, like coming together. It almost feels like it means so much more than if this was just part of the Olympics. You talk about playing for pride of country. That's the other thing I think of is the Olympics. However, here with this World Baseball Classic gets like the stage to themselves instead of being part of, the summer games and just kind of being another sport included in all of that.
Yeah, and I think, baseball was never that big in the Olympics. That's why they got rid of it.
Right. But again, it's participation. Like having guys play for a team in the middle of a baseball season, kind of hard to get the best in the world to participate when it's June or whatever, and they're trying to get their team to a championship.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
yeah, that's probably why you saw a lot of like Team Japan winning gold medals and stuff in the Olympics, because they could kind of plan a little bit more around the season happening, and they had like a high level professional league, whereas the MLB is mid-season during the Olympics, and you're not leaving your team. So
sure.
But the World Baseball Classic is sick. I can't wait for it.
I cannot wait for it either.
I really hope that there's a place I can buy a Geraldo Perdomo Dominican Republic jersey, because I'll tell you what, Derek, money's short right now.
But it's no object.
That's something that like I need, like water, like oxygen, like food.
Yeah.
It is sustenance. Yeah. That jersey is my sustenance. It's what will keep me showing up here, sitting in this seat, hitting the buttons, talking with you on this podcast. I need to be wearing that blue DR jersey on my chest.
We need to make that happen.
On the back.
We need to make that happen, folks, because this man was distraught over items from Chelsea's new collection being already sold out without him even getting a shot.
Released this morning.
They were released this morning. They're already sold out of the hoodies. It doesn't make any sense.
What happened?
What happened? What happened to the team we loved? What happened to the?
No, I actually probably wouldn't have spent money on that because it was a lot of money. But like, I don't care how much money the DR Perdomo jersey is. I'm going to buy it. It is just like I've already factored it in. It's like, well, I got this much for rent and $200 for my Dominican Republic Perdomo jersey, and like it's just gonna be a bill. It's gonna be a bill.
Tell you what, we'll get Perdomo on this show, and then maybe we'll convince him just to give you a game-worn one. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Got to do something. Damon needs a win. Damon needs a win.
I would frame that, and it would be my prized possession in life.
All right. Well, we'll start working on that tomorrow. Hopefully, you guys should join us for that 12 p.m. show tomorrow on Friday. Until then, you can follow us on social media. I am at @cap_caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG, and we are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys for your time. We appreciate you stopping by. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful evening and afternoon, and come back here and chat with us for a fun baseball episode before I disappear off to Los Angeles, possibly forever. I refuse to root for the Dodgers while I'm there, but I am going to go to Universal Studios as many times as I humanly can. So until then, like I said, have a wonderful evening. Remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you have your top pitching prospects stop by to give you the lowdown on who they are.
We all silly like the mayor.